I'm Kaylee. I'm the Director of Growth at SlapFive, and my background is in research and science, which is really what intrigued me about SlapFive to begin with. There are a lot of customer marketing and advocacy programs that have a philosophy of rewarding customers for doing acts of advocacy, like taking a video testimonial or participating in a reference call, do this, get that. But what we have learned is that this actually creates a bit of a Pavlovian effect. So customers get a little bit of that dopamine from participating in an act of advocacy, but over time, they won't offer up advocacy until they're offered that reward. And with SlapFive, you'll gain more than just a platform that's built by customer marketers for customer marketers. You'll also have psychology-based best practices and a community of impact-driven peers to ensure that your customers' advocacy is in return for the intrinsic value that they gain from your program. And that's really what creates the long-lasting loyalty. So I wanted to start with a philosophical question, which is, why do we date? In general, people don't just date for the sake of dating. The goal is to find your soulmate. And you won't just want to date SlapFive after this, you'll want to put a ring on it. I was fortunate enough to find my soulmate and got married just a couple of months ago. And since we're speed dating today with the goal of finding your advocacy soulmate, I figured I would share some of the advice that we received along the way from our loved ones throughout our relationship and for our marriage as well from our wedding guests, which included some of the SlapFive team, as you may recognize them here. So before I started dating my husband, the advice was not to settle for somebody who didn't check all of your boxes. And so with that, I wanted to talk about why SlapFive is a great catch. So we will help you mobilize your customers to drive strategic initiatives. Your day is, and you would be a good fit for us if your days are spent in hectic spreadsheets, your advocates are burnt out, they are not participating in your program, if you get bombarded with requests for customer content or quotes for PR or all kinds of things related to customers. And if you know that you drive revenue growth, but you're struggling to prove it. So if any of that sounds familiar, then we'll likely be a great match for you. When you think of the SlapFive platform, and I know this is a lot, there are 4 things that I'd like you to remember. So one is customer content, engagement and advocacy, request management, and the Salesforce integration. These elements and integrations with the tools that you're already using create a single system of truth for your customer data and lead to the holy grail of customer marketing and advocacy, which is revenue influence tracking. SlapFive is like a flywheel spinning off customer advocacy. For example, using engagement and advocacy, when you sign on a new customer, you'll invite them into your branded program. Using the content engine, you can capture a micro story with the reasons that they chose your software over any of the other competitors out there. And when a rep views an opportunity, the Salesforce app will recommend sharing that authentic customer recording. And marketing can also easily embed that same story onto your website or campaign landing pages. Throughout the customer lifecycle, SlapFive captures and spins off more advocacy when customers complete their implementation or celebrate a 1-year anniversary, for example. So while we were dating, some of the advice that we received was to make laughter the soundtrack of our relationship. And for our purposes, we'll say making customer voice the soundtrack of your program is what's important. So this is James. He's a SlapFive client, and let's hear what he has to say about content.
The cost of hiring out a film crew for a day, we as marketers know that it gets expensive quickly. Staffing fees, post-production costs, the travel, and that's just for, if you're lucky, maybe capture a couple different videos in one trip. With SlapFive, we can capture an unlimited number of videos in any number of ways for a tithe. It's maybe a tenth of the cost. It saved us thousands, and we're able to take that money, and especially during this this time when everyone's crunching pennies, we're able to take that money and put it towards other campaigns and other efforts on the marketing team. And that's just been huge for us.
As he said, with SlapFive, you capture content once, publish everywhere, see what resonates through the analytics, and then make more content like that. Our clients have created 10 times the amount of customer content over the course of a year using SlapFive and reduced the time to create case studies from a 9-month process to a 1-week process. I love what James said because all marketing teams right now are required to spend smarter. And as we know, there's really no point in creating customer content if it can't be easily shared across the organization and with your customers, which brings us to the next piece of advice. Surround yourself with the friends who will strengthen your marriage. So this is, once we made it to the wedding. For our purposes, we want to surround yourselves with the teams that will strengthen your advocacy program. Most of our customers' days used to go like this. Their team gets bombarded with requests for random acts of customer proof. So people need clients to participate in reference calls or speak at events, talk to analysts, pull quotes for PR, and it's a constant struggle to match customers or content with those requests. Customer marketing has to look at different spreadsheets, call account owners, look in the CRM before reaching out to the account themselves. With SlapFive, everybody on your team has a 360-degree view of what's going on with your customers, and you won't impose on your customers by asking them to perform acts of advocacy that aren't your cup of tea, because we'll be tracking their exact preferences, because we know not everybody enjoys speaking on stage or in things like this. Change management is really difficult. And what is the point in going through an implementation of a reference platform if it doesn't serve the sales team? I mentioned at the beginning the 4 things to take away from this presentation: content, advocacy and engagement, reference management, and the Salesforce application. But these 4 things are not silos. They all tie into one another. Content, like the asset of James that we just looked at, can help you scale the reference process. We've had clients reduce the need for one-on-one reference calls by 60% through leveraging these authentic customer stories. And as we know, not all the burden can be on one partner in a marriage or a relationship. Another piece of advice we received was to make time together a priority. And your time should be your priority with your program. And SlapFive's revenue influence tracking allows you to prove the value of your program and know where your time is best spent. So I'd like to quickly define a customer influence event. It's any event that happens during a prospect's purchasing process in which an existing client speaks with a buyer, or for example, a video testimonial is viewed, or an opportunity is started from a referral, or a reference call takes place. These dashboards give you insights into who's viewing, sharing, and finding usefulness in your influence events. This is SlapFive's open pipeline view. Here we can see $5.3 million in revenue are correlated to these influence events. This alerts you to let sales leadership know which opportunities could still leverage an influence event to gain some velocity in the pipeline. The same applies for expansion opportunities. Here we can see to demonstrate to executive leadership that deals close faster when there's some form of customer involvement. And finally, showing that customer relationships really do have an impact on renewals and the bottom line. These are just a couple of the views that come out of the box, visible to all leaders within the Salesforce application, but they can, of course, be further segmented by product or other important views. Finally, our favorite advice was this piece right here. Accept the past, support the present, encourage the future. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past, and it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. SlapFive will be your partner in building the future that you want to see.
Our program literally wouldn't be what it is today without SlapFive, or just even like platform, yes, but also just like the amount of time and attention I think you guys gave our program and gave to us, even in things like this. Like, to me, that's so incredibly helpful in a new industry where you are building the plane as you fly it, and like, you know, just trying to figure out what is the norm, what is the standard, what is best practice, how do we, you know, how do we do well and contribute in the best way. So I'm very, very appreciative, and I don't think that's something, to me, that was not the feel that I got from other platforms.
We know that building a program can feel daunting, and SlapFive is not just a tech platform, we're really your teammates. And we also know that it takes a village, and we've built one. And so you'll be joining a family of all these great customer marketers. If you think that SlapFive could be the one for you, reach out to schedule a demo. And this October will be a great opportunity to meet a lot of the vendors that you're seeing today at the 5th annual CustomerX Con, which is put on by the CustomerX community. So we look forward to seeing a lot of you there. Thank you.